الله أكبر سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر
We stand as one from the Muslim community and from the Christian community and from all faiths and none to shine a light upon the plight of those suffering under the apartheid Israeli state. I see you, Palestine. I hear you, Palestine. I recognise your right to resist and return.
Peace be upon you, peace be with you, and peace for all. Ladies, gentlemen, and children, I thank you all people from Medway and Kent coming to be a voice for the Palestine. Everywhere the Palestine is bathing in blood. All the prophets and messengers who was born and buried in Palestine, they worked for peace, they preached for peace. Here today we remind the world, the powers, the sellers of weapons, arming Israel and arming other people for killing people. This is not the justice. In our time, in our modern time today, the humanity looks for peace. They want to return the people of Gaza, Palestine. They want peaceful lives in their homes, and they want the end of the occupation of Israeli forces establishments.
Here we are again. Same bloody occupation, same murderous regime. More innocent victims on both sides of the fence. How can we end this siege? Well, I think the solution is right here. It starts with us. It can only start with us. It's only about us. Because this war, like all wars, is being fought in the interests not of protecting ordinary Israelis, let alone ordinary Palestinians in Gaza, West Bank, or the masses in Lebanon, Jordan, Egypt, and the peoples of the region. Is being fought for the narrow interests of the murderous Israeli regime, the autocracies of the Arab world, and ultimately on behalf of the imperialist powers led by Biden, Sunak, and Macron. We have to unite these struggles and build a sort of mass movement that can not only stop this war, but put an end to violence and oppression the world over, once and for all. And I want to put out a challenge to Keir Starmer and the Labour leadership, Labour who are now in power in Medway, and most probably running the country next year. Or are you going to stand with us and fight for an end of war and an end of oppression and for a socialist alternative?
Assalamu alaikum. My name's Ajaib Hussain, and today I'm representing Medway Interfaith Action in my statement, which on behalf of Muslims, Christians, Jews, Sikhs and people of no faith as well, anybody who's actually a member of MIFA has made a statement, and I thought it's really opportunistic to say that statement in front of you so that you know there are many, many people that believe in righteousness in this world. We urge all governments and the international community to act responsibly and help bring about an immediate ceasefire with justice for everyone, including security for Israel and a viable homeland for Palestinians to live together in freedom and peace.
You know, yesterday it was pouring with rain and I was thinking tomorrow is going to be raining, and this was my worry. So even all our little problems are actually little compared to what people in Gaza, and let's not forget the people in West Bank are facing. They're not thinking about rain falling on them. That's the least of their concerns. They're thinking about bombs and bullets that are falling on them. And this issue did not start on 7th of October. The next election is coming up, and you must make yourself more aware of who stands for truth and vote for them.
There are over 7 million Palestinians living in exile, many in refugee camps in Lebanon, Syria and Jordan, and the majority of those are forced out. And they were forced out often many years ago in what the Palestinians describe as the Nakba, the catastrophe. And their descendants are still there. Under international law, these refugees have a right to return to the lands from which they were expelled. However, Israel has continuously denied this right. Some Palestinians remained in what is now Israel. 1.7 million people live as second-class citizens, comprising of more than 20% of Israel's population. And they are subject to 65 laws that discriminate against them because they are Palestinian.
As Israelis were killed in the Hamas attack. And we are now looking at the possibility, not a possibility, almost certainty, that they're going to roll tanks and 300,000 troops into Gaza. That can only have one result: utter carnage. It's going to mean that we're talking about tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of deaths. And when you see our politicians, the disgraceful, vile hypocrisy of what they have been saying. In the first, they started off by completely backing Israel, no matter what it did. Now they say when Russia bombs Ukrainian infrastructure, they say it's a war crime, and it is. They say that when Russia kills civilians, it's a war crime, and it is. They say when Russia cuts off food and basic necessities of life from Ukrainians, it's a war crime, and it is. All those things are happening in Palestine, and apparently that is not a war crime. And it's absolutely outrageous. And the question is, why? Why are they doing this? Why are the bastions of human rights and democracy doing these things?
I wanted to take a minute to comment on the absolute hypocrisy of the media in this country, which tries to paint pro-Palestinian protesters as pro-terrorism or pro-violence, and Israel as some kind of offended party that can do no wrong. It's no secret why they do this. It's because British imperialism is deeply involved in this crisis, if not at the root of it. 2 years ago, when Israel was bombarding Gaza once again, an act that its policymakers and its government describes as mowing the lawn, disgusting, Britain's 100 UK-based companies were involved in arms that were on the manufacture of arms that was sent to Israel. Shame! Shame on Britain!
But the United Nations is the United Nations' hypocrisy and refusal to condemn things that they have condemned in the past. For example, the use of chemical weaponry such as white phosphorus, which causes 6-degree burns, disproportionate means of combat, and the killing of innocent children and the cutting of electricity and water to Gaza. It isn't fair to say the first human right that we're all born free and equal is being delivered to the people of Gaza.
But we need to remember something to remind all the Jews. We are not anti-Jews, we are anti-Zionist. And the way the power of the US and everybody, by bringing a lot of young people about the right of return, by bringing them with free tickets to Israel in order to settle and make them into an army, is bringing that fear of that the Muslim and the Palestinians are anti-Jews, they want to kill the Jews. That is not true. We need to all spread that lack of fear, to reduce that kind of fear, because this is how they lure them to become in the army. This is out of fear. And we need to bring that justification. We are telling the truth. We are Muslim, we are Christian, there are Palestinian Jews. Biden, a few years ago, he said, if there was no Israel, we will need to create an Israel to protect the U.S. interests in the Middle East. So the way that means they don't care about the Jews, really, they don't. What they care about is about their interests, and they lure them to become our enemies. We didn't want them to be our enemies. We could have lived together with the Jews all our life peacefully, which we did over many centuries.
White light lit up the sky over Gaza tonight. People running for cover, not knowing whether they are dead or alive. They came with their tanks and their planes, with ravaging fury flames, and nothing remains, just a voice rising up in the smoky haze. We will not go down in the night without a fight. We can burn up our mosques and our homes and our schools, but spirit will never die. Our spirit will never die. Our spirit will never die. We will not go down in Gaza tonight. Women and children alike, murdered and massacred night after night. While the so-called leaders of the countries afar debated on who is wrong and right, or who is wrong or right, but their powerless words were in vain, and the bombs fell down like acid rain. And the bombs fell like acid rain, but through the tears and the blood and the pain, you will still hear the voice through the smoky haze. But through the tears and the blood and the pain, you can still hear the voice through the smoky haze. We will not go down in the night without a fight. You can burn up our mosques, our homes and our schools, but our spirit will never die. But our spirit will never die. But our spirit will never die. We will not go tonight in Gaza tonight.
You have the moral duty and the ethical duty not to call us numbers, to go and to learn about us, to share our stories. We hold you accountable. We hold you accountable. They can kill us. They can bury our children, but they will not kill our hope. They will not kill our determination. They will never ever break us down. Thank you so much.
Let's give Palestine a voice. Free, free! Free, free! Free, free!